Hey everybody and welcome to the stream. I hope you're well. I hope you are well. Today we're going to be doing a little bit something different. I'm going to be doing a bit of a breakdown to the makeshift trailer, which I looked at last week or a couple of days ago. I'm not really sure. I have wrote a script for it, and this is all new, all new to me. So what we're going to do first is, though not completely sat in silence here, I'm going to get some music going. I'm trying to get some music going. It's not really working the way I wanted it to. But anyway, scroll that down. That touch. If I'm using the music, I might as well say who it is and what it is and all that jazz. Right. Okay. So first off, I feel like I need to say, when I was looking into the information for this trailer, I stayed away from IMDb and any other breakdown videos. So if some of the details I've found have already been discovered, then that's fair enough. I also don't know the names of the people in this trailer, other than the returning cast. One of the main things I want to talk about first, and it's nothing huge, so we'll get this up now, is the location that it's based at. Now, when I was talking about the trailer in the last stream, I mentioned that every time they've done some sort of skyline in the background and things like that, it's never really been one city. It's always seemed to have been like a mishmash of different cities and things like that. But as you can see, this building, because you should be able to see my cursor, This building here is supposed to be Neil Patrick Harris's office or somewhere around. You see this at the beginning of the trailer anyway, and it's a real place. Obviously, San Francisco. This is the building. That's the building right there, and then there you go. You can see it. You can see the street view of it. Why is the music coming through my regular speakers? We'll knock that down a touch. So yeah, it's a real place. It's based in San Francisco from the looks of things as well. So I just found that quite interesting that they've actually gone ahead and actually used an actual city. A couple other things as well. There's a lot of blue in the trailer. I noticed there's quite a few blue references throughout the trailer. You've got Neil Patrick Harris' glasses. You've got the blue butterfly in the background, which you can actually see just above the cat here. I mean, I guess this could be blue as well. Neil Patrick Harris's cardigan as well. That does seem to change from grey to blue, but we can talk about that later on. And then there's the blue-haired girl, obviously. I don't know the actress's name, which is what I mentioned earlier on. But yeah, so at the beginning of the trailer, we see that we've got a black cat. It's either a nod to the first movie, or it's some sort of deja vu happening. So in the first film, deja vu is usually an indication that something has changed in the Matrix, which is shown when Neo sees a black cat repeat its movements. I think a deja vu event has occurred in his office, and we don't see. Adam, thank you for the follow, my man. And we don't see it in the trailer, but what we do see is Neil Patrick Harris's cardigan go from grey to blue. So, what if the machines are keeping tabs on Neo? When he starts to question his reality, they change something to prompt him to take the blue pills, which we see a lot of in the trailer. It's either this or it's just a different time, but I like to think it's the former. And by the way, if my eyesight drops, it's because that's what I'm reading. I wrote this script and I'm wanting to read it because there's a lot of information here. And if I didn't write this down, then I would be forgetting all of it. So in this one here, so here's a shot. We'll talk about this one first. You've got Neil Patrick Harris. He's got his grey cardigan on there. I believe it's grey. You do see it a couple of times, and it is sort of fastened up different. In one shot, he's wearing a tie, and it's fastened up. In the other shot, it's open like this, and it's grey. So I just thought it's interesting. So, the street code. So you can see this. It's my background on here. And it's odd, because you've got this weird square going off here. I'm not 100% sure what that is. But now going because I've gone off script here. So unless it's him being observed on a monitor and it's been done this way just for the trailer, it's kind of, we would see this little box on a monitor, but they've added this little bit to, I don't know, throw us off or something like that. The other thing I saw is the sign in the background, which is half red, half green. The green section is flashing. Possibly someone's trying to get Neo's attention. But after looking into what the language the Matrix code is based on, I found out that it's a combination of katakana, and I could be butchering these words, but katakana, kanji, and hiragana. And the T-looking symbol on the sign, so just below the arrow here. It's the symbol is the sign for HI, so possibly high. So what if it's saying someone's trying to get Neo's attention and say hi Neo? Now, I couldn't find any sort of translation for the actual ziggy zag arrow one here, but I wondered if I could find something for the red one. Now, you can't really see it well in the trailer. You can't really make up what sort of symbol it is. But funnily enough, I think it's in the hiragana, there is two symbols. There's one for NE and there's one for O. So it goes to show that possibly someone is, for lack of a better term, hacking this sign to get Neo's attention, saying, "Hi, Neo." And it just so happens, obviously, that you've got Neo walking down the street. And it's almost like his line of sight is kind of looking at the sign, which, you know, I like to think that would be, and it'd be cool if that was the case when the movie came out. But yeah, anyway, we're gonna move on from this. It is a cool looking shot, and I would like to see if that actually turns out to be true. I know, who knows? Let me have a look. I may have skipped a couple here because when I've been looking, trying to work out the things like that, it's not been. They've not been lining up properly, and from the looks of it, I've missed something in my little screenshot symbols. So I haven't got it on me, but I will explain it anyway. We do see a guy, and you do see his eyes go black, and you do see like the Matrix code sort of go over his eyes. So we could be seeing a new way that the agents actually take over. So they've upgraded how the agents take over a person's body, because I think in the original movie you did see a lot of code going down the face just before or as the agents were taking over. So seeing it this particular way, and you do see it's kind of confirmed later on in the trailer, which I don't have a shot of, but there is a shot where the agent does take over someone and he does have black eyes just before it. If that's not the case, we seem to see the same guy shooting. Hold on. If that's not the case, we seem to see the same guy shooting a gun, followed by Neo trying to stop a bullet by catching it or just barely stopping it in time. So the guy that you do see the black eyes with just after this shot, you almost see the same guy shooting Neo, and Neo's it's just barely just stopping the bullet in time. So getting to this one now, this particular shot, this one's a very sort of fast-paced shot. So you've got the beginning of the trailer. I mean, you can see in the time. Oh, you can't see the timestamp, but the timestamp for this is like 12 seconds in. But it's such fast-paced that you would have blink and you'll miss it, kind of thing. Now, full discretion, I watched this trailer as slow as YouTube would let me, just to try and get as much details as possible. So I did a Canadian lad and went 0.25x speed with it, and this is how I got it. It took me probably almost an hour, but bear in mind I was typing and taking note of all the different shots as well at the same time. But it is interesting, and it answers the question as to why Neo's alive. Obviously, you got Neo laying down on the ground, pipes in him. We know it's him because you can see his eyes are blinded from the second and third movie, because Smith jabs him in the face with an electrical wire. We get a close look at it at this with the machine actually repairing him, which I'll show up there. So you can see there he's repairing him. I believe this is before they put him back into the Matrix, and you will see why in a moment. But it begs the question, why? The machines know he's the one to be able to take them down, but they choose to repair him anyway. Do they need him to fight someone else that is worse than them? I guess we'll find out later. But yeah, there you can see. They're all on him. Blinded eyes, repairing him. Moving on. Boom. Now, I think it's this one. Okay, so we've got two hands holding each other. It's just, I think it's Trinity and Neo. It makes sense if it would, because we see the same glow emanating from them both later on, because they are surrounded by SWAT and FBI. They've got this like glow coming from them. I won't say too much because we will be getting to that. It's almost like they both have powers, and together they are actually stronger. So I have got a theory towards, which I will get into at the end of this, but it does relate to Trinity. Oh, don't tell me I've missed that one. Let me see if I can find it. There it is. Oh wait, I've got this one. Yeah, I'm all over the place. I should have labeled these better. Now this obviously it looks like Trinity. It could possibly be Trinity. It might be somebody else. Um, it's nothing really special, but you do see her in classic clothing from like one of the first movies. It's the only time we do actually see her wearing it in the trailer. So, is it a flashback or is it something else? It's not really explained. Well, you can't really tell in the trailer, but I doubt it's going to be a flashback. But that's the only thing that sprung to mind first. We've got two huge machines. Now, this could be both housing Neo and Trinity in separate pods to the rest of the humans, because we see the pods later on, and there's hundreds of them, but I believe Neo is on the left and Trinity is on the right. But there's something later on that has me confused. So you've got these two. This one's Neo. You can almost see him sort of poking out, which I think ties into this shot here. But yeah, you can almost see him poking out, and then obviously this one's Trinity. So I reckon he wakes up, looks across, and possibly sees Trinity. So moving back to here, so you got Neil Patrick Harris again. And at this point, he's actually in the blue cardigan. So in the first time we saw him, he's in the grey one. He's kind of sort of fallen into the whole deja vu thing. I think is going on. I could be wrong. There we go. Blue glasses. We've got Neo in. I don't know why. I took a shot of this. Just sort of piqued my interest of it. So just before this, there is Cynobath. He's got a duck on his head, and I literally wrote duck. Why is he quackers? And I thought I'm not even going to use that because it sounds stupid. But we've got him in the tub. It looks like he's crying. It's either from just being in the bath and the water's just dripping down his face, or he is crying. And considering where he lives, I'm guessing this version of Thomas Anderson isn't a hacker, because it's quite a nice looking building. When you remember him from the first movies, he's almost like in just this crummy apartment where he's just got crap just littered everywhere. So this bathroom shot caught my eye, not because he's popping some more pills, but the bathroom has a blue tint to it as well. So I don't think I mentioned it earlier, but I have mentioned it before about the fact that there's a lack of blue tint throughout this movie. In the first few films, we do see a blue tint for the Matrix, and we see a green tint for the Matrix, and we see a blue tint for the real world. But this is obviously going back to me thinking, have they tweaked the Matrix to just sort of give him subliminal messages every now and again just to take these pills, which is why the bathroom's blue or has a blue tint to it. We do see him in front of the mirror quite a bit. I guess he's took the pills and spat them out because he saw something, panicked, then took the pills. Either way, he's starting to question: is it real? Pills, staring at the mirror. It looks like the same shot to me. It does look like the same shot. So I reckon he's took them, spat them out, or he's seen something regarding the mirror. But again, the mirrors do play like a somewhat big role in this trailer. They are everywhere, and they did sort of make a big part in the first movie, because that's how Neo actually left the Matrix. Just gonna move on. So with this shot, I'm not really sure what this is, but it seems to be worth time to be in the trailer. So the only thing I think of is the bird swarm, which which you may or may not be able to see. It's just the right of his finger. It's in between where I'm circling with the mouse. Maybe it's triggering a memory of how the machine swarmed. Now, there is, obviously, in the third movie, he was blind at the time, but you do see how the machines swarm. There is a moment in Zion where they all swarm down in through a hole and they're all getting shot at. So maybe it's just another one of those things that do trigger his memory, or start to trigger his memory and cause him to question everything. Okay. Now, where is my favorite one? I'm guessing I don't have it. Why don't I have it? Or let me just get my files up here. And see if I didn't take it, because I bet I've not done it, but yet I will have an explanation for it. I don't have it for some reason. I didn't do a screenshot of that. I'm really doing a good job at this. So I will talk about it though, because it is a bit of a thing. So there is a shot where Neo is in an elevator with a lot of people around him, and they're all on their mobile devices. And I just figured, is this a metaphor as to like, even though we're not physically aware that we're jacked into the Matrix, but we are sort of so dependent on our phones these days that we are almost jacked in all the time, constantly swiping through Twitter or swiping through Facebook and just sort of being engrossed in what is going on online. And I believe that it just seems like that could just be a nice little metaphor to it. And again, just after that shot, there is a bit where Neo is looking up at the mirror once again. The mirror is pointing down. I just thought it was a clever shot. I don't have it here, but I thought it was a clever shot because even though you see the reflection of everybody below, you don't actually see the camera. I know it's not that hard to do these days, but it was interesting to me. I thought I might as well. It's a cool shot that I can appreciate it. Moving on, we've got another shot where he's in the bathroom once again. Now, it's obviously later on in the trailer, or it's earlier on in the trailer, but he's obviously wearing different clothing at this point. At this point, this is where he pretty much finally dumps the pills. So you don't see it here, but he does dump the pills just after this shot. And if we move on to the next one, we see this girl for the first time. This one. And she's reading the Alice in Wonderland, which is also a reference to the first movie. And since the camera has a close-up to her, get it back up, I wonder if she's supposed to be the young girl who was with the Oracle at the end of the third movie. And maybe she is the new Oracle? Could she be the reason that Neo has started to question his reality? If you're not aware, there is a moment in the third movie whilst Neo is in a coma. She's with her mum. Well, she's a program, so technically she really don't have a mum or dad, but she has a mum, she has a dad, and then there's herself. I don't know what happens to the mum and dad, but she ends up going with the Oracle and tends to stick around with the Oracle. So could she have taken up that mantle? Could she be the new designated Oracle? I know it doesn't really work that way, but maybe she's still sort of working with the Oracle. Who knows? Maybe that's what it is. Maybe, like I said, maybe she is the one that's making Neo question his reality. But again, it's one of them things that we can't really determine from the trailer. It's just going to be something that we're going to find out as the movie comes out, like a lot of them. This one's interesting. We see similar shots to this in a moment, but you see present day Neo is here and there. I think there is another one, but I might be wrong. But we'll go with this one. See present day Neo in front of a mirror, with a projector of himself behind him from the first movie. This also seems to be the same place where he's offered the red and blue pill. see in a moment. There we go. Do they need more equipment to release people from the Matrix now? We also have this shot where we see Neo looking at a mirror, but it's not him looking back. So this one. I thought this could be him struggling with who he is and his purpose, but I'm not 100% on that. We also see the mirror shimmering. So as he is actually studying, because it's a screenshot, you can't actually see it, but whilst you're watching the trailer, the mirror does have a sort of shimmer at the same time. So I'm guessing this all takes place after he takes the red pill. Voila. Got Rabbit tattoo. It's just like the first movie, leading him down the rabbit hole. You get the first look at the blue-haired girl. I'm guessing it's her who has the tattoo. Now we have Neo interacting with this BHG. Now BHG is what I started calling this girl, blue-haired girl. He's also wearing the hat from the earlier. So this must be after he's dumped his pills and is now looking for answers. I wonder if the girl with the book in the cafe has introduced Neo to her. It seems fitting for someone who may own a cafe to meet a lot of people and be able to introduce others to one another. Kind of like how the Oracle has visitors to her home and made cookies for everyone. Is this another metaphor? To follow the light. This also says to me they don't need a key maker anymore, and I think the BHG's glasses have something to do with that. Again, take note of the glasses. We see someone else wearing them later. Trailer is cut to make you think. Hold on. Woohoo! We're back there. The trailer is cut to make you think that once they walk through the door, they appear from a mirror, which isn't the case, as Neo isn't wearing his hat in this shot, but she is still wearing the glasses. For all I know, they're here to meet the Merovingian, the Frenchman. I can't even pronounce the name, because he is actually in the movie as well. We don't see him in the trailer, but he is actually in the movie. And it's the decor, this little bit of decor here could probably have a bit of a nod to that. But yeah, a reason why I don't think it follows up straight after this is because it would be somewhat of a continuity error. So it may lead up to it, but I don't think this leads straight into this. We'll see Neo meeting Trinity again, which looks like a garage. This could be the same, could be her place, because we do see someone riding a bike later on in the trailer, and I have seen her riding one on some leaked set photos. Could this explain her classic? Why have I wrote classic? Her classic outfit. So could that outfit that we saw earlier on be what she wears when she's riding the bike? So this could be her place. Considering we see Neo in the fancy looking apartment, this doesn't seem like it is his place. And we have seen Trinity riding motorcycles before, so it's not too far-fetched to think that. We've got this one now. I don't know what to think of this. Why does she have code on her face? Something's not right here. I first thought that maybe this is after she's taken the red pill and he's being unjacked, for the lack of a better word. And I thought she wasn't real, but we see the second pod earlier, so she must be alive at least. But why this? Did she know Neo at the coffee shop from earlier in the trailer and knew who he was was trying to trigger a memory? I don't know. I started to think she could be an antagonist to the movie, but later becomes good because she remembers who she really is. Why do I think this, you might ask? You will see later. This one though, this is quite a cool scene. Neo's almost being tested. He's obviously doesn't know who he is yet, but Morpheus does. And why does Neo have his normal clothes on? I get that they are trying to almost recreate the dojo scene from the first movie, but even then he wears different clothes. And Neo also seems like he's more powerful this time around. Like he's able to use his real world abilities as well as his Matrix ones. Since the real world abilities kind of have the same effect, they've got like a almost like a fiery appearance to them. So this is what I mentioned earlier with the pods. Neo and Trinity seem separate to the main fields, like they're keeping them isolated for some reason. Could it be that the machines are also in conflict with themselves, and this is why they have brought Neo and Trinity back? Let's see. This is a cool shot. Zion's ship in the old world ruins. We don't see this in previous movies. They must be searching for something, maybe looking for Neo and Trinity's pod to pull them out because the tracker isn't working the way it should. There is more on this. There is more on this one. I do sort of come to a different conclusion regarding it. Got both of them on top of a building. There is fire and debris around here, so there is a shot later on where they are fighting against the helicopter, and I'm guessing this particular shot takes place after that. Another throwback scene. It's not really much to go on, but it reminds me of the first movie with Morpheus being interrogated. I've noticed quite a few scenes that parallel the first movie like this. Now this area should look familiar. We saw it earlier with Neo and younger and the younger projection of himself, and the mirror is not in the mirror way. It's not his reflection looking back at him, but look at them. Look at the monitors. Look at the monitors. What I thought earlier, this could be where they try to pull Neo from the Matrix, but things must go wrong, and they can't track his body. Hence, Zion's ship in the ruins. So, again, it's just another cool looking shot. It seems to be quite prominent for the trailer, this particular area, so it must mean something. It must be like an important part. Now, this is another use of the Keymaker's abilities in the door. It's the same projection room, but it's leading to a train, and you do kind of. I mean, you can see here. This guy's obviously shot. At first, I thought it was a rocket launcher, but I'm guessing. It's not. But you see it here going towards the door, and obviously the door itself has got a nice light glow on it, similar to earlier on. And then obviously the rocket goes through, and then the train blows up. I think I've just wrote here the SWAT use a rocket launcher to try and either close the door or kill BHG, Morpheus, and Neo. The fact that Neo has a suit-like jacket but pajama bottoms on is an odd choice, but at this moment in time it's unclear as to why. But we do see those glasses again. So he can only just make it out. So he's got like a suit coat on here, and his bottoms just like PJs, pajamas. So odd choice to wear, but sure, you know. You see the glasses again. You got Morpheus, and here's Neo. And then this one. This is why I was confused earlier. This pod is different to what we see Neo in. It's not clear if it's not clear. This is Trinity, and to be honest, I get Alien Resurrection vibes from this. This could be a clone of Trinity. The machines could use her against Neo, which is why I thought she might be an antagonist, like an agent. Can I help you? Okay, I thought you'd gone. Okay. Okay, bye. I've lost my train of thought now. The machines we're using. Okay, the machines, thanks Robin, the machines could be using her against Neo, which is why I thought she might be an antagonist. Like an agent, but designed to get close to Neo to prevent him from becoming the one again. I know it's quite a stretch, but later we see her with some abilities that we haven't seen before. She can almost move as fast as Neo. This is part of the reason I believe the machines aren't just at war with the humans, but are also at war with themselves. If you think about the last movie, the machines knew where Zion was, and to my knowledge, that hasn't changed. Even though I guess they could have moved Zion in the span of 18 years. Maybe the Zion ship isn't searching for Neo and Trinity, but are returning home to the new Zion, which is hiding in the ruins above the ground. As I mentioned before, Trinity seems to have similar powers to Neo. She seems to be able to move fast, and in the next shot, she screams and we see her split. If we're going down the theory that she is bad at first, and is this her fighting with herself? Could this be the moment she remembers it? It remembers it all, and now she has to go on the run with Neo. In fact, looking closer at the splitting versions of herself, we see some of them are different women altogether. Are we dealing with overlapping versions of the Matrix here? We know there have been multiple versions of the Matrix before, which is actually where the Frenchman came from. Thinking now the shot with Neo and the mirror, and he sees someone else looking back at him. Is that another version of the one, and they're just overlapping? Did the machines have to override a previous program with Neo and Trinity to Trinity to place them back into the Matrix? And is this the reason we see other people in their place? Do only us, the viewer, see Keanu and Carrie-Anne Moss? There's another theory for you. Now, why, after touching the mirror, is Morpheus surprised at the result? We've already seen him fight Neo and give him the choice. So why is it that he's shocked when the mirror ripples the way it does? I think this must be a flashback of sorts. Maybe he's explained to Neo how it happened. Flashbacks aren't really a thing. I mentioned it before. They're not really a thing in the Matrix movies, so it's weird to see. I know the early synopsis of the movie was supposed to be Neo is supposed to save the young Morpheus whilst learning his abilities. But does that sound familiar? If it does, that's because that's the first movie, except Morpheus isn't this young. Can't find it, and it should be around here, but I bet I've not got that one saved either. I don't. So prior to this particular shot, I'll just have another look, make sure I don't have it, because I'm sure I must have deleted some as I've gone along, or I've moved them. I've probably moved them into another folder. That's just how I roll. I like to make things a little bit difficult for myself. But just before this, all right, buddy, that's not a problem. Nice for you to drop by anyway. So, just before this shot, we do see someone running through a door, and at first I thought that's an agent, and then I started to think, does everyone have the Keymaker abilities? And I thought that until I got to this shot. So you've got Morpheus and you've got the blue-haired girl running away from agents. And what does Morpheus have on his face? He has the glasses. That's why I think these glasses have the special ability to enable people to go through any door and reach anywhere. And as a side note, Morpheus looks scared. And I'm guessing this is early in the game for him. Yeah, I'm guessing I've missed some stuff. So the next one I want to talk about is a pretty big one I do want to bring up. So let me try and find it before we move on. And if I don't have it, I'm going to have to load the trailer up and do it that way. Right, okay, so we got this one. If I put that there, that should line up nicely. Yeah, it looks fine. That looks fine. So, now, let's find out where I am. Okay, right. Sorry about this. Here's another brain pondering shot. The blue-eyed girl Morpheus jumped through a window. Jumped through the window of a building heading to the ground. Then, if it works, we see this. What the fuck is that? Now, bear with me, because it will come up again. In Matrix 2 and 3, there was a character called Mouse. He popped up from nowhere with zero backstory, right? Wrong. If you've ever watched the Animatrix, we get to see how Mouse got out of the Matrix. He met Neo and knew something wasn't right about the world he was in, to the point that agents ended up coming to track him down. So long story short, he believed so hard that his life wasn't real, that he jumped off a roof and woke up and woke his real body up in the real world. And that's what I think's going on here. The blue-eyed girl seems to already know the deal, but Morpheus doesn't, since we see him panicking in the hallway. In fact, what if the whole mirror and running away thing with Morpheus isn't a flashback? It's the opening to the movie, and this is going to be the opening before the credits, and we get to see the rest, and we get the rest of the story later on through the dialogue. I'm guessing they don't need landlines anymore, but who does these days? Maybe Bluetooth. Someone said that to me. I felt like putting it in. It seems cheesy, I know, but whatever. So we've got another fight scene with someone who I can't make the face out, but it kind of looks like the guy at the end of the trailer. I wonder if he is the one holding the gun at Neo in the rain sprinkler shot. So the one which kind of is almost a throwback to the first movie with Morpheus. Magneto Keanu. It's just a cool shot. I wrote Matrix Zombies. So, watching it in slow motion, you do actually see some of the people here which are sort of trying to stop. I'm guessing it's Trinity and Neo on the back of the bike. They do seem to be trying to stop them from getting somewhere. They almost look like they're lunging, almost like they're the zombies. So, like I said, you do see their eyes glowing green a little bit. But it's just odd. It's a very odd scene, but if I were to guess, this is leading up to one of the last shots that I do have. Another new ability. I've not seen him do this before. We've seen him stop bullets, but with this one, he's actually throwing rockets. It's not hard to see in the trailer. You do actually see it. Some of the stuff that I'm talking about isn't blinking, you'll miss it. This is stuff that you will pick up on. But the idea with this whole thing that I'm doing is to try and come up with a rough idea of what the story is going to be about. Whether I get it right or not, that's fine. It's just a bit of fun at the end of the day. So yeah. So if I'm right with the zombie scene, it's before this, and this is a sunrise, and yeah, I believe this is a sunrise, and Neo and Trinity are trying to wake themselves up the same way Morpheus did with the blue-haired girl. Um, we see this guy. So yeah, not really much to talk about. Not much to talk about there, but yeah, I think they've jumped off the top of the building and they're just trying to wake themselves up because the landline isn't working, the tracker isn't working, and for whatever reason, this is the only way that they can wake themselves up. Maybe the Matrix was designed without. Maybe this version of the Matrix was designed without any landlines involved, so they have to find different ways to be able to wake themselves up, and it just seems odd because they are falling. They're not. It doesn't all like start to fall and then take off. They are both falling, so I'm guessing this is just how they are going to wake themselves up. But then we see this guy, and this is who I think he's fighting in the sprinkler rain whatever thing, and I think he's the one that's sort of fighting him in those ruins as well. I don't know who he is. There is a shot, and whether it's I can't get hold of it again because it was part of the make your choice on the website. It was make your choice matrix.com or what is the matrix.com, and in his particular shot you see his face, his lips merge together just like Neo's did in the first movie. So with all that being said, and what I'll do is I will close this off because there is just a little thing I want to go through. If I can get to the beginning of these images. There we go. Okay. So that is the end of pretty much the end of the script. That's all the details I found, and the the one I'm most proud of, and it's so stupid, but it's the text. It's the flashing text with the source code, the source code street we'll call it. I was chuffed that I found that out, and I hope that's true. Because if that's true, I feel like I've accomplished something. But it's daft. I know it's silly, but yeah, it's one of those things. But watching this trailer, I did come up with a possible idea of how the story is going to pan out. And I tried to rearrange all these screenshots that I've taken to be in some sort of chronological order, which I will cycle through and I will show you. But what I have done, I've left out. I think I've put a couple in, but I've left out the majority of the real world images, so the pods and things like that, because they could be put anywhere. They could be anywhere within this, and I didn't know where to fit them myself, so I just took the ones where we think they are in the Matrix, pieced those all together. So I reckon, and I've said this earlier on, I reckon it starts with Morpheus. Figuring out that this isn't the real world, and this is the shot that I must have forgot to copy over when I was doing this. This is the shot. At first I thought this was an agent, but it turns out it's actually Morpheus with the glasses, because you do see them. This is a floor, and you see them coming through, and then it flips. It flips around. So, yeah, I reckon that opens up with Morpheus, because it starts up with Trinity last time, and then you see them wake up. Cue credits, I guess, and then, or maybe it's Trinity then cue credits. So she helps save Morpheus. So if you don't believe that this is a flashback or like a recap kind of thing, she helps save Morpheus. Once she's found out that's done, we get some Trinity action, then credits. Cut to Neo popping some pills, staring at himself in the mirror, taking a bath, and then this is the shot. This is the one that I was talking about with the metaphor. Everybody's on the mobile devices, constantly jacked into Facebook or Twitter or whatever it is that they have in there. And then you've got this shot here, which again I thought was cool because the camera would be about here, and you don't see it in the reflection. So he's on the elevator, heading towards to see the psychiatrist. He's having a little chitty chat. You see the black cat, and then his cardigan's blue. So that's what I'm talking about. So I reckon you get to see Neil Patrick Harris. He's chatting away, and you've got Neo slowly starting to believe that none of this is real. So we get a bit of a deja vu moment. Black cat. And now Neil Patrick Harris is wearing blue. Maybe the Matrix is like, you need to take these pills. Look at all this blue. You need to take your blue pills. Leaves the psychiatrist's office, goes outside, sees a swarm of birds, heads over to the cafe, meets the girl reading the book, the new potential Oracle. She has a bit of a chat with him, closes the book up, maybe hands him the book so he gets to read it. He heads home. Maybe she's like, I've got someone I want you to meet. Head home first. He heads home. Again, this is a fancy apartment considering what he lived in before. Heads home. Gets rid of his pills. Meets up with the girl. Follows the white rabbit. Has a bit of a chat. He seems confused. Goes through the door. And I think at this point, this is when we get to this point here. I mean, yeah, he's wearing the hat here. You don't see him walk through the door. If he went through that door, walked into another room, maybe he took his hat off. We don't know. But I still stand by. It doesn't. The scene isn't going to go from him going through the main door and then coming out of a mirror. I stand by that. So, looks at the mirror, gets the choice, red or blue pill. He takes it, sees somebody else looking back at him. The whole thing shimmers, and then shit goes down. So, like I said, this looks more like this is how they try and get him out of the Matrix. They need a mirror. They need the tracking information. Shit goes down. Doesn't happen. Like I say, you've got this all going off here. And again, this is the moment that Neo actually chooses the red pill as well. And the mirror's involved. It goes down his throat, makes a cool sound. And then he wakes up. Obviously, that doesn't happen here. We see the shooty. They go through the magic portal door onto the train. Shit goes down. Train blows up. Blah, blah, blah. Let me have a look at this. Now, I can't tell if she's wearing the same clothing. I'm guessing not. It seems very calm. Neo definitely isn't wearing the same clothing, so I'm not really sure whereabouts. I'm not confident that this comes after. It probably might do. He seems a bit more confident in himself. He seems less worried. So it potentially probably come after the train, but again, not directly after the train. You have obviously Morpheus and Neo fighting. That could be after the train as well. Neo and Trinity meeting up once again. Hands glowing, showing the true powers of both of them. Weird code down a face. SWAT comes in. So I believe this is probably the garage. SWAT comes in, tries to take him out. If you notice, everybody here is getting blown backwards, except for Trinity and Neo. So I'm wondering if they've got special power, special abilities, let's call it. They've got special abilities that are stronger when they are together. They've got the zombie train again, so yep, they do this. They go on the run. Zombies, bad guy, falls into them getting separated. He's pulled a gun. They have a fight. Trinity's having a fight of her own. Splits up for some reason. And I didn't really stand on this very much, but you can definitely tell this looks like Trinity. This one isn't Trinity. Neither is this one. This could be, but you can see there's different people's faces in this, and I thought that was an interesting shot. They reunite. I mean, to be fair, that could be the garage as well. They reunite. He stops bullets again. They go to the roof, deflects a rocket. There's the debris from the rocket, and then they jump off. Cut to the real world. Neil wakes up. Where's Trinity? Is she across from him, or is she not? We don't know. She could be, she couldn't be there. Maybe the pod that is opposite him was intended for Trinity. Or Trinity is there, but she doesn't wake up there. She wakes up in her clone body from the other machine structure that we saw later on. Now, my theory, and again, it is just a bit of fun. It doesn't mean it's going to be the case, and I'm not saying it is going to be the case, but if it happens to be the case, then spoilers. Now bear in mind, this is only touching on a couple of characters. It's not an in-depth synopsis. It is literally just what I've seen in this trailer. So, again, spoiler one. If you don't want to hear it, turn off now. Leave now. Take your headphones out. Turn your speakers down. But here we go. The machines are divided, and they are at war with each other, not just the humans. One faction of the machine wants Neo to stop the other faction in return for true peace against the machines, which is why they repair him and have him isolated from the other human pods with Trinity across from him. The other faction doesn't want Neo to succeed in taking them down, so they make a clone of Trinity to help take him down and grant her abilities too within the Matrix. There can't be two Trinities in the same Matrix, and she is constantly fighting with herself, slowly realizing her real identity and slowly realizing what her real identity is. Neo and Trinity try to escape the Matrix, but are prevented from doing so and go on the run to find a way out, ultimately jumping off the roof to eventually awaken. Again, I know I've skipped some beats in that, but I don't have all the pieces yet, and I'm still excited for the movie to come out. Whether I'm right or wrong, it doesn't matter. It's just for fun. But that being said, I hope you liked it. This was an interesting one for me. I did spend some time, obviously, writing the script, watching the trailer in really slow motion, trying to pick out all these little bits and pieces, these little details that some people may or may not have missed. And I enjoyed it. We are going to be doing a look at the new Hawkeye trailer. I believe, if everything goes right, it's going to be myself and Cheesy Beefy Burrito, and we're going to be doing that on Thursday at 10 p.m. BST, or if you live on the east coast of the States, around 5 p.m. Now, that being said, we'll end it here. I hope you liked it. If you did, drop me a follow, drop me a subscribe if you're watching it on YouTube. Hey, if you're watching me on YouTube, head over to Twitch. Follow me on Twitch, because I'll be doing this more often. Anyway, thanks for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.